Hello, everyone, and a fantastically warm welcome to this special holiday-themed edition of the one and only Global Online Quiz. My name is Yulinka. As always, it is my pleasure to be your quiz master. And as always, I'm coming to you from our studio in beautiful Eindhoven, the Netherlands, where, as you can see, Bob and myself are in the holiday spirit, ready to get this show on the road. So I assume that many of you tuning in today will be regulars who know exactly what to expect. But of course, for any newbies out there, before we get you quizzing, allow me to explain what you can expect from today's quiz. Just in case, you never know, we might get a few newbies in this holiday season. So we usually get players from all over the world. A warm welcome to all of you. And if you are tuning in live on the Saturday for the premiere of this holiday-themed quiz, that means you can join our moderator, Guido, who's ready for you on the chat and who is dying to find out where you are playing from. If you're watching this at a later time, which I imagine loads of our regulars will be doing over the holidays, you'll find a nice moment with your friends and or family to enjoy this quiz, then sadly you don't have that option. But you do, of course, as always, have the option of submitting your scores along with some comments to us. And I hope you'll consider doing that, especially this holiday season. We love to read all your comments and how you guys are doing around the globe. So just for those new players, let me remind you, we have this link here, which can be accessed through the URL or the QR code, and you can do several things when arriving there. One thing you can do is submit team photos, which especially this holiday season, show us how you are celebrating the holidays, would be really, really cool. We didn't have enough in this edition, actually, so we've skipped over them. We're going to do a massive, hopefully, photo array for the next quiz in January. So there's a link there. You can say hello to us on WhatsApp and submit a cool team photo. If you do that, please also let us know where you're playing from and what your team name is, so we can turn that into a cool slideshow for the January edition. That would be very much appreciated. What you can also do is make a contribution if you find yourself enjoying today's quiz and you'd like us to keep them going for you in the future. And finally, last but not least, we'd love to include your team in our global online ranking, which goes up on the website and our socials approximately 2 weeks after the quizzes have aired. We do that deliberately to give everyone loads of time to enjoy the quiz and still be able to be part of that ranking. So through the link here, you can submit your score, and that also allows you to submit some comments. Let us know what you enjoyed about the quiz. If there's anything that you'd like us to include in the next edition, if you have any suggestions, that is where you can leave those. And of course, for those of you joining live during the premiere, don't forget to let Guido know on the chat how you're doing throughout the evening, because that is really part of the fun as well there. So I hope everyone participating today keeps all of this in mind now. We also have those printable answer sheets available. That's where you can write down your answers. If you don't have them printed out, just grab a couple of sheets of paper, one for each round, number them 1 to 10 from top to bottom, and you'll be good to go. There is one rule, as our regulars surely know, and that is we do not allow the use of any aids other than your collective brains. So keep it fair. I can't really travel the globe like Santa and check whether you're all doing that, but I trust you this holiday season to play fairly so that we have an accurate global online ranking to publish. 6 rounds coming your way, as always. Loads of fun questions, and plenty of those are holiday themed, of course. We've dotted quite a few of those into the mix. And we also have quite a few questions on the topic of the year that is now almost behind us. So we've got some year in review questions coming your way as well. So 6 rounds, 10 questions. We've got some themed rounds. I'll let you know what the theme is for each round, if there is one. And we're going to finish, as we always do, on the wonderful music round, which is not holiday themed. No, we've dotted those holiday-themed questions throughout the quiz, but I've got a bit of a different music round for you. Finally, of course, we have a break. We'll do that halfway into the game after round 3. We'll give you a little break so that you can make a pit stop, grab some more eggnog, and get ready for part 2 of the quiz. So that is today's program. Without further ado, let me take you to our first round. And that is the picture round. As always, fireworks around the world is the topic for this edition's picture round. We've got some lovely fireworks displays. What we'll do is show them to you for 20 seconds on end. Then once you've seen all 10 of our photographs, we're going to put them into miniatures so you can finalize your answers. So you don't get them twice like we used to, because with these super clear pictures, I don't think there's any added benefit really. So 20 seconds on end, and then it goes into the miniatures. What do we want from you? The country where each of these photos was taken. So we don't even need the specific city, just the country will do for the points here. 10 countries means 10 points up for grabs on this first round. I hope you enjoy it, and I'll see you on the other end. Okay, welcome back, everyone. I hope you enjoyed our lovely fireworks displays. And now it's time to find out how you did on that first round of picture questions. That also means it's time to swap sheets. If you happen to be in a local competition, perhaps playing against other teams of friends or maybe in a pub, we don't know if any of those are still going on. We certainly hope so. So if that's the case, you can swap sheets now and check each other's answers for a bit of added fun. Here we go with the answers for round one. First up, this photo was taken in Bangkok, beautiful Thailand for number one. Number two, this very large, impressive parliament building is in Bucharest, Romania for the second point on our picture round. Number three, different continent altogether. We are in Auckland, New Zealand with this rather understated fireworks display. Number four, we go back to Europe for this one. These were some lovely photos all taken in Barcelona, España, Spain for 1 point on number four. Number five, we traveled to Dubai. This is the United Arab Emirates for the point on number five. And number six, back to Europe once more this holiday season. We are in Helsinki, Finland with this photo. Next up, number seven, not the trickiest one in the bunch, I dare say. This is a beautiful photo of Rio de Janeiro, Brazil for a point on number seven. And it's Malaysia that earned you a point on number eight. This is Kuala Lumpur with the beautiful fireworks display. Number nine, back to Europe again. This is Amsterdam, our very own Amsterdam here in the Netherlands, which earned you the point on number nine. And finally, for number 10, this is Shanghai, China. We see here with the Oriental Pearl perhaps being a rather recognizable building in that skyline. So that concludes our first round. I hope you're feeling good. If you're joining us live, as always, do let Guido know on the chat how you guys got on. We'll give you a minute now to jot up your scores, and then we'll move you into our first mixed bag round of questions. And that is it for round number one. We're taking you into the first mixed bag round now. Number two coming up, and that means loads of fun general knowledge questions await you, including, of course, the traditional kickoff, which is fun with flags. For number one, which country in Central America changed the color blue of its flag to cyan or turquoise, if you prefer, in this year? It happened in 2022. Though a 1949 decree specified that the stripes had to be cyan, in practice, the flag remained blue for the next 7 decades. Only this year, the country started flying flags with cyan or turquoise colors, and it's actually a remarkable difference in that shade of blue there. And it started at the inauguration of the new president, Xiomara Castro, in January. So which country is it that has now officially changed the shade of blue in its flag to cyan or turquoise, if you prefer? Okay, on to number two we go, which has some beautiful coastlines lined up for you. I'm going to give you some information on them as well for this question. I think I was just dreaming of beautiful beaches here with the cold now really hitting us here in the Netherlands. I cycled over here this morning wearing a hat and a coat and a couple of layers because it's really, really cold, especially for Dutch standards. So this is a nice question to turn to. Which countries would you need to visit in order to see each of the following world famous coastlines? So I'll give you their names on top of the photographs that we already see. Half a point per correct answer, of course. We have A, the turquoise coast, B, the Dalmatian coast, C, the Skeleton Coast, and finally D, the Amalfi Coast. So for half a point each, can you identify the 4 countries you'd have to travel to visit these particular coastlines? Question number 3 is our first picture connection for today's quiz. And most of you will know exactly what to do. Just in case, let me quickly explain. We see 4 seemingly unrelated images here of people and various objects. There's a beverage in the mix there this time around. There is something, though, that logically connects them all, and that something will earn you a point on question 3. So have a good look at everything and everyone you see and see if you can figure out the single word logically connecting these images. Question number 4. When thinking of Italian painters of the Renaissance, names such as Raphael, Michelangelo, or Leonardo da Vinci come to mind. But the painter whose work we see here is less known, though you may have seen his weird portrait heads made entirely of objects such as fruit, vegetables, flowers, or even fish and books. Among his most famous paintings is this, a portrait of Rudolph II, Holy Roman Emperor, painted as Vertumnus, the Roman god of the seasons. What is the name of this painter? So an Italian painter. It's not Raphael, it's not Michelangelo or Da Vinci, but who could this be? His name will earn you a point on number 4. Next up is a question for all you lovers of cinema out there. I'm going to give you the first and last film made by a particular actor for cinematic release, that is, as well as the years of release for both films. Can you, in turn, give us the actor to match? So it's the first or last film in which the actors were actually credited, and we do count voice performances. Here we go. The first one I have for you, the first combo is A Monster in the Closet from 1986 and Furious 7 from 2015. So which actor had this as their first and last movies in which they were credited? For cinematic release, that is. Then we have B, Die Hard, 1988, and Alice Through the Looking Glass in 2016. Then finally, C is East of Eden, 1955, and Giant, 1956. So that's not a very long career in cinema that we have there. Identify the 3 actors to match for half a point each. On to number 6 we go. And this one actually stays with the topic of cinema for a moment longer, but it also very much touches on the topic of graphic design, which is what I actually studied once upon a time. As far as fonts go, Papyrus isn't quite as laughable as the beloved joke that is Comic Sans, but it's pretty darn close, isn't it? Which a blockbuster movie series, is my question to you, in which the films are always released in December, makes use of that font Papyrus in its very movie logo. It's caused more than a few raised eyebrows in the design community, and it even spawned a short SNL movie starring Ryan Gosling. In that short but hilarious skit, Gosling's character can't stop obsessing over the laziness of the director's decision to slap a slightly modified version of Papyrus onto a movie that cost hundreds of millions of dollars to make. Which movie? So it is actually a series of movies that are always released in December. Keep that in mind. And the font that is used in the logo is Papyrus. Can you identify the movie series? On to number 7, a bit of geography. I have a geography riddle prepared for you. When I travel directly north, I'll end up in Scotland. If I travel directly east instead, I'll end up in England. If I go directly south, I'll end up in Wales. And if I travel in the western direction, I'll be in Northern Ireland. On which island am I? So on which island am I for all of that to be accurate is the question for number 7. On to one for the foodies out there, and it's holiday themed, of course. For number 8, we see some Christmas or holiday dishes, as well as the flags of 6 countries. Can you avoid the odd ones out and link each dish, which I'm about to give you a description of as well, to the correct flag? So to the flag of the country where it is indeed a popular holiday dish. We have in photo A, saffron buns that are sweet and often yellow in color. They're shaped into an S and then baked into their final buttery form. But where are they from? Which of these flags matches that dish, the saffron buns? In photo B, in one country, making tamales is a Christmas tradition, and every family has their own secret recipe. The basis of tamales is a corn dough wrapped in a banana leaf or a corn husk, and then it's steamed. Some are stuffed with pork, but they can also come with beef or chicken. In photo C, we have latkes. These are fried potato pancakes cooked in oil and part of the holiday tradition in which nation? So again, I'm looking for the flag to match. Finally, in photo D, a tradition dating back to the Middle Ages. Eating goose was originally tied to St. Martin's Day, but it eventually became a part of the Christmas tradition, the Christmas meal in one particular nation, often stuffed with apples here, but also chestnuts, onions, and prunes, and spiced with mugwort and marjoram. So can you name the country, or at least find the flag to match for that final dish as well? Try and match up all 4 flags correctly and avoid the odd ones out if you can. we're staying with the topic of food for a bit longer. Can you tell me which Italian actress published a best-selling cookbook in 1971 called In the Kitchen with Love? Naturally, in the book, she shares her favorite recipes. And besides that, she talks about her career as well, or how she came to some of those recipes throughout her career. For instance, there's the recipe for spaghetti with bay leaves offered to her by a friend when she won the Academy Award for her role in the 1960 film Two Women. Who is this actress? So she wrote the book In the Kitchen with Love. And on to number 10 we go, which is, as always, our video connection. This particular time round, I have 2 movies in the mix and 1 song. Pay close attention to everyone and everything you see, because there is one word logically tying song titles, songs, movie titles, all those things together. So I'm trying to find that single word. If you can manage to do that, it will earn you the final point on round number 2.
This town we call home. Everyone hail to the pumpkin song. Are you there? Daddy said you were very busy tonight. My name's Trudy Lightstone. Are you gonna help us, Santa?
Yeah, Trudy.
Santa?
You're on my nice list. Santa Claus is coming to town. Time for some season's beatings.
And that concludes round number 2. As always, we'll give you a bit more time to wrap up your answers. Use it wisely, and I shall report back to you shortly with all the correct answers for this round. After that, we'll go straight into round 3. We have one more theme round coming your way before the break. And that is it for round number 2. You know the drill. Time to swap sheets if you are in a local competition, because here come the answers for this first round of mixed bag questions that we prepped for you. For number 1, the country in Central America that changed the color blue in its flag to cyan or turquoise, if you prefer, this year, that was Honduras. Number 2, the country you would need to visit in order to see each of those. Sorry, guys. Siri has decided she wants to weigh in. Shut up, Siri. Oh, my gosh. Well, that's the first time in 52 editions we've had that happen. She starts instructing me on Honduras. Okay, excellent. I just got a new phone because I broke mine during a recent World Cup match when things got interesting. And anyway, long story short, Siri now apparently weighs in on my quizzes. Back to the answers for number 2. The turquoise coast is in Turkey. The Dalmatian coast is in beautiful Croatia. The Skeleton Coast, Namibia or Angola. Either of those answers earned you half a point here, both correct. Finally, the Amalfi Coast is in gorgeous Italy. So half a point each on these for number 2. Number 3, the picture connection. We had some lovely ginger beer. We have a gingerbread man. We have Jerry Halliwell, a.k.a. Ginger Spice. And finally, we see Ginger Rogers. So ginger was the word connecting them all. The Italian painter, famous for those interesting portraits, such as this one of Rudolph II, Holy Roman Emperor, is Giuseppe Arcimboldo. So just the last name will do. That will earn you the point on number 4. I think we've all seen his paintings, but I think it's a tricky one. I don't know if many teams manage to also identify the artist by name. Number 5, the artists or actors, they're artists as well. Monster in the Closet and Furious 7, that is Mr. Paul Walker. Die Hard and Alice Through the Looking Glass, that was Alan Rickman. Alan Rickman did star in a TV movie as well, but he made his big screen debut, remarkably enough, as the villain Hans Gruber in that movie, Die Hard. And finally, East of Eden and Giant, we saw him on screen there already, of course, is James Dean. He did actually play in some films before East of Eden, but always in an uncredited role. So East of Eden was his first credited film. That came out in the cinema, and then Giant was the last, so half a point each on these actors. And then we move into Papyrus. Here we see it already. Avatar is the name of that movie, and I'm really excited. I've got my ticket booked for Christmas time. The whole family's going to go see the new Avatar movie. Really excited to see what that's like. And whether it will still have papyrus, well, we already know that it does, although they've tried to tweak it a little bit. It's still papyrus. Number 7, the mystery island I found myself on was the Isle of Man. Here we see it on the map, so you can see that all of those directions indeed bring you to those particular places. The Isle of Man for a point on number 7. Which flag should you have linked to those tasty Christmas dishes? Well, the first one, that was flag number 2, Sweden, for those saffron buns. The tamales, that was Costa Rica. And then we also have the latkes, they are from Israel. And finally, the goose, that would be Germany, that has that for a Christmas tradition. Number 9, the author of that cookbook, here we see her, the wonderful Miss Sophia Loren. One famous quote by Loren states, "Everywhere, everything I have, I owe to spaghetti." I like that. Number 9. And for number 10, the connection. We had the song Silent Night in the mix there. We had The Nightmare Before Christmas. And finally, a movie that looks rather interesting. I hope I'll get around to seeing it this Christmas. Violent Night. So night was what connected all of the songs and films that we saw, little clips from that. So that brings us to a grand total of 12.5 points you could have earned on this round. And do let Guido know if you're joining us live. Do let him know on the chat how many you managed to earn. And of course, the other teams as well, because that is part of the fun. We'll give you a minute now, of course, to calculate your scores. And to do that, if you're rewatching this, then just make sure you add up your scores so you can submit your total at the end there. And I'll report right back to you with round 3, which is a special year in review round that Guido and myself have prepared for you. Okay, on to round number 3 we go. And as I said, this is a year in review round, our own, sometimes a little bit quirky year in review round of questions. Let's get you started. Here comes question 1. First he would, then he wouldn't. In the end, though, he did. Elon Musk did buy Twitter for a whopping $44 billion this year. Not all users were happy, with many fleeing the social network looking for other greener pastures. And one app, quite similar to Twitter, has had an increase of tens of thousands of users since the takeover of Twitter by Musk. So we see the logo on screen already. Perhaps that helps you a little bit. Which app saw a rise in popularity this year following that takeover of Twitter by Elon Musk? We see the logo on screen here. So this is the app I'm looking for. Can you identify it by name for number 1? Okay, quite a few changes on the world stage as well this year. So we've lined up for you 3 prime ministers and 1 president who came into power in 2022 or who won elections. Can you give me the name for each person? It's not to say that they're all still in power. I did not say that. But 3 PMs and 1 president who came into power this year or who won elections, and their names are worth half a point each on number 2. On to question number 3. For this one, we're going to go to Hans Island. That's right, not the biggest of places, but an interesting one. Settling a dispute about Hans Island earlier this year, Canada will in the near future not just border the United States anymore, but also a second country in Europe. With which country will Canada, once this agreement is ratified by both national governments, now have a second border, is my question to you. So it used to only share a single border with the US, but following the division of Hans Island between Canada and a European nation, it will now have a second neighbor in the near future. Which European nation will that be? On to number 4, and you saw this coming. Yeah. Chris Rock did not, but you did. We had to, of course, have a question on this topic. When looking back at 2022, Will Smith bitch-slapping poor Chris Rock at the Academy Awards must be one of the most iconic moments of the year. It took the attention of off of the reason that Chris Rock was actually at the Oscars in the first place, and that was, of course, to present one of the Academy Awards. The question to you is, do you recall in which category he was about to present an award when this happened? Is that A, the award for Best Documentary Feature Film? Is it B, it was the award for Best Animated Feature? Or is it C, it was in fact the award for Best Director he was about to present? For number 4. And on to number 5, and something rather creepy, rather interesting has appeared on screen here. This has to do with Nikon's Small World Photomicrography competition. It's a yearly competition celebrating photos showcasing the beauty and the complexity of life as seen through the light microscope. While this photo by Eugenius Kavaliauskas did not win, it was awarded an image of distinction by the jury. Apart from that, it also caused a bit of a stir because some viewers were freaked out by this close-up as well. The question is, which insect is this in fact a close-up of? So we're looking at the face of an insect here. Can you identify which type of insect we are looking at in this photograph? For number 5. On to number 6 we go. Operation London Bridge was executed this year based on a plan that was created all the way back in the 1960s. What was Operation London Bridge related to is my question to you. So what did this operation entail? So they thought it up in the 60s. It was even changed a few times in the meantime, but Operation London Bridge was finally executed this year. So what did this operation relate to? I should point out that this is not the London Bridge in question, but this tower bridge that we see here is far prettier as a backdrop for this question. On to number 7, and this has everything to do with chess. It's been described as the most serious cheating scandal for international chess since Toiletgate. A controversy occurred when the current world champion withdrew from a tournament not wanting to play against American player Hans Niemann, with Niemann being accused of cheating with help from electronic devices. And while he admitted to having cheated in the past, he denied cheating in over-the-board chess games, even offering to play a chess match fully naked to back up his claims. The jury is still out on this one, but which chess player is involved in that row with Niemann is the question to you. So which chess world champion is involved in this row with Niemann for number 7? Back to a headline from earlier this year. The question is, which island nation in the Pacific was struck by the eruption of a submarine volcano? This happened in January, and it was the largest volcanic eruption since the 1991 eruption of Mount Pinatubo. Communications with the country and island hit by the eruption were difficult due to a damaged undersea cable, while the shockwave produced by the eruption caused notable changes in atmospheric pressure all around the globe. Which country was severely hit by that submarine volcano in January? So a nation in the Pacific is what we're looking for. On to question number 9. Take My Breath Away from Berlin is probably one of the biggest soundtrack hits from the 80s, forever connected with that 80s blockbuster film, Top Gun. The sequel, Top Gun Maverick, is the highest grossing movie of 2022 worldwide. And while its soundtrack isn't quite as popular as Take My Breath Away, the single Hold My Hand was still a modest success. Can you tell me who sings Hold My Hand from the Top Gun Maverick soundtrack? So who sang Hold My Hand and turned it into a modest success? It was a bit of a hit, at least, for number 9. Last but not least, plenty of awards were given out this year, as always. And my question to you for number 10 is, which of those awards, which prize was awarded this year to Belarusian pro-democracy activist Ales Bialyatsky, Russian human rights organization Memorial, and Ukrainian human rights organization the Center for Civil Liberties? So these three shared which award in 2022? And that concludes our year in review round of questions. We'll give you some more wrap up time before I return to you with all those correct answers. Alrighty, welcome back everyone. Time to swap sheets if you are in a local competition. Here we go with answers for our year in review round number 3. We kicked off with that logo. It represents an app which a lot of users fled to following the takeover of Twitter by Elon Musk. We see it here on screen already. The name of said app is Mastodon for 1 point on number 1. And the next question earned you 2 points if you managed to identify all of our prime ministers and or presidents to be. We have on offer today Anthony Albanese, and he is the new PM of Australia. We have Giorgia Meloni, the new PM of Italy. Liz Truss, who spent a whopping 44 or 45 days, depending on how you count, as PM of the United Kingdom. And finally, Lula da Silva, elected president of Brazil this year. So those were the names that earn you points on number 2. Number 3. Finally, after many years, that dispute about Hans Island was settled, and Canada will soon border Denmark as a result. 17 years of negotiations, the two countries finally decided that the island that's located in a strait between Canada and Greenland, which is, of course, a territory of Denmark, will be roughly cut in half, using a rift through the island as the actual land border. 40% of the island will be Canadian, with 60% being Danish. Hans Island has a total land area of 1.3 square kilometers, which makes this land border the third shortest in the world. Number 4, the bitch slap. Yes, but which award was he in fact about to announce that Chris Rock? Well, the correct answer is the award for Best Documentary Feature. And this actually prompted Michael Moore to tweet, as usual, when it comes time to hand out the documentary Oscar, all hell breaks loose. Pretty great tweet. For number 5, Nikon Small World Photography Competition. The gorgeous face we are looking at in this photograph belongs to an ant. So this is an ant, believe it or not, that we are staring in the face. Number 6, Operation London Bridge was executed this year, and that was the name for the arrangements for Queen Elizabeth's funeral. So anything along those lines, of course, earned you the points. Operation London Bridge, the official code name for Queen Elizabeth II's funeral arrangements. Number 7, Toilet Gate. Well, this might have just been the biggest drama, the biggest cheating scandal for international chess since Toilet Gate. And the man who refused to play against Niemann is Magnus Carlsen. The row went viral this year, with some experts jokingly suggesting Niemann had used vibrating anal beads during matches. With even, here he is again, Elon Musk weighing in on the discussion. But of course, so we'll leave it up to you to decide whether you think that's plausible. Number 8, the island nation in the Pacific that was struck by the eruption of a submarine volcano earlier this year. That was Tonga. Tonga was so severely hit by that volcano. Number 9, Take My Breath Away is, of course, still the biggest Top Gun hit, but Lady Gaga did all right with a lovely song called Hold My Hand. Lady Gaga for a point on number 9. And last but not least, so Belarusian pro-democracy activist Ales Bialyatsky, Russian human rights organization Memorial, and finally Ukrainian human rights organization Center for Civil Liberties, they shared the Nobel Peace Prize this year. We, of course, couldn't make a round about 2022 and just ignore the saddest and biggest news of the year, which is, of course, the ongoing war in Ukraine. So that concludes round number 3. I hope it earned you many points. I hope you remembered some of these facts from the previous year. And that means you have earned yourselves a break almost. What we'll do, of course, you could have earned 11 points here. And what we will do now is give you a bit of time to jot up your scores. And after that, we're going to go into a well-deserved break. So first, you can jot up your scores and share them with Guido. And of course, for those of you not joining us live, well, you can't really share your scores with Guido, but do be sure to write them down because we'd love for you to submit them at the end so we can include you in that ranking. So here's the break slide. We'll return to you in exactly 5 minutes from now. You can use the break to refresh your drinks. And if you find yourself enjoying today's quiz, please consider making a little contribution to keep us going. See you in 5. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to part two of this holiday edition of the quiz, our final global online quiz of the year. And we're going out with a bang. I hope you're enjoying yourselves. We certainly put a lot of love into these questions, but then we always do, Guido and myself, that is. So welcome back, everyone. Before we take you into part two of the quiz, I like to always thank everyone who chipped in during our previous edition and who took the time to submit their scores so we could include you in our global online ranking. We really appreciate that. This QR code, it remains active, so does the link. Even if you are rewatching this with your family, your friends, your loved ones at a later time, so you can chip in at any time after a quiz. And we hope that you'll consider doing that, chipping in a few euros, dollars, whatever your local currency is per person. And if you could combine that as well into a team contribution, that would help us save on transaction fees. So that would be really great. These quizzes take a lot of love and time and effort to make. And so if we can cover a little bit of that time through your contributions, that would be really, really lovely this holiday season. So please consider that. Also, please consider using the link that leads you to several options there in the little screen it takes you to submit a team photo through WhatsApp so we can include you in our January edition and maybe really kick off the year with loads of wonderful holiday themed pictures. That would be a great start to the year, I think. So something to keep in mind. And now let me take you onto round number 4, which is our second and also our last mixed bag round of today's quiz. And we're going to kick you off with a bit of a sports-themed brain teaser for this one. Here we go. Question 1. The 22nd edition of the FIFA World Cup is about to come to an end in host nation Qatar, or perhaps it already has, depending on when you are watching this show. Including Qatar, 18 different nations have hosted the World Cup since it first kicked off in 1930. Fun fact, Qatar is the first host to include the letter Q in the country name. So here's a letter question about the World Cup hosts for you. Using the English spelling of the different hosts between 1930 and 1922, which letter of the English alphabet is the only one never to have appeared in the name of a host nation? So try and make a list of all of the countries that have hosted a FIFA World Cup and try and find the single letter that doesn't appear in any of their names. Now, obviously, I'm giving to you this question to you nice and early on in the round, so you have a bit of time to solve this puzzle for number 1. On to question number 2. Some songs end up as holiday songs, while they were never intended as such. Take, for example, Stop the Cavalry by Jonah Louie, which was written as a protest song, or The Power of Love, one of my personal favorites by Frankie Goes to Hollywood. The same goes for the song River from the 1971 album Blue. Maybe the first couple of lines are the giveaway. It's coming on Christmas, they're cutting down trees, they're putting up reindeer and singing songs of joy and peace. Since 1971, the song has been covered multiple times, most recently by Olivia Rodrigo and Harry Styles. But which Canadian singer-songwriter actually wrote the song River? So originally released on the album Blue in 1971, can you name the Canadian singer-songwriter who wrote the song River? For number 3, we dive into our second picture connection for this quiz. And it's again for seemingly unrelated images, a rather famous book, a perhaps rather iconic cat, depending on where you're from, a historical photograph, and a television show with some of the characters from it in the photo there. What logically connects each of these images to one another? Question number 4. I really like this one. A fantastic movie poster. And it was released for the promotion, of course, of a certain movie. But if we pay close attention, we'll see that it also parodies another movie quite heavily. Can you name both the movie this poster was designed for and the movie poster it quite heavily parodies? So I'm looking for 2 movie titles for half a point each. On to a question for all you animal lovers out there. For number 5, when we think of marsupials, animals endemic to Australia, of course, are the first thing that comes to mind. Kangaroos, koalas, wombats, bandicoots are probably the most well known. But some marsupials can be found in the Americas as well, primarily in South and Central America, but there is a single variety of marsupial living in the wild north of the Mexican border. Can you give me its name? So what is the only marsupial to be found north of Mexico? On to a bit of science for number 6. Trichloromethane is the colorless liquid with a boiling point of 63 degrees Celsius, which was discovered in 1831 by the American physicist Samuel Guthrie. The substance has a sweet smell and taste and is well known for making appearances in detective novels, in which qualities are often assigned to it that don't quite match with reality. What is the more trivial name given to trichloromethane, the name under which we probably know it a bit better? So it often shows up in detective novels, even in movies, but they attribute qualities to it that aren't quite as accurate as you might think. So trichloromethane, what is the more colloquial name for this colorless liquid? On to question number 7. We are, of course, rapidly approaching New Year's Eve once more. The year is almost behind us. Or perhaps by the time you've gotten around to watching this quiz, it really is New Year's Eve. You don't know. For this question, I'm giving you 4 countries. And could you put them in the right order for me this holiday season, starting with the country that will be the first to celebrate the new year 2023. So put them in order of when you believe they will celebrate the new year, with the first country, of course, being the first one you write down. I have on offer A, the Philippines, B, Kiribati, C, Japan, and D, India. So please put these countries in order based on when they will celebrate the new year, starting with the first one to do so. On to question number 8 for all you book lovers out there. We've got 3 books that are situated around Christmas time. Can you give me the author for each one? So we see on screen here the books Skipping Christmas, that's A. B is A Christmas Carol. And finally C is How the Grinch Stole Christmas. Identify the author for each book for half a point each. On to number 9 to get us into the holiday spirit even more. We've lined up some actors playing, or I should really say dressed up as Santa Claus in various movies. Can you give me the name of each actor? So we don't need the film. The names of the actors dressed up as Santa is what will earn you the points on number 9. Last but not least, number 10. And because we decided that this year we weren't going to do a full holiday-themed music round, we've got a bit of a different approach this year, I thought I would throw in a cheeky Christmas song. As a matter of fact, we've gone with the Christmas song, commonly subtitled Chestnuts Roasting on an Open Fire, or as it was originally subtitled, Merry Christmas to You. It's a classic Christmas song written in 1945 by Robert Wells and Mel Torme, and it's been covered by numerous artists from a wide variety of genres since. Can you name the 3 artists you're about to listen to in the 3 short clips that I have prepared for you? So I'm looking based solely on their voice for the names of these 3 solo artists. Here comes the first clip for you now. This is clip A. Let's have a listen.
Chestnuts roasting on an open fire, Jack Frost nipping at your nose.
A rather famous voice, I think, but can you link it to the correct singer? That is the question. Another famous voice for you is the one in clip B. Here it comes.
Tiny tots with their eyes all aglow will find it hard to sleep tonight.
Ooh, that's all you get to work with. And last but not least, again, a pretty iconic voice, I dare say, in clip C.
Yuletide carols being sung by a choir, and folks dressed up like Eskimos. Everybody knows.
And that's all you get to work with, but I will, of course, give you some time to debate that with your team. And that concludes our second mixed bag round for the evening. As always, we'll give you a bit more wrap-up time, so use it wisely, and I'll be right back to reveal what those correct answers should have been. Okay, welcome back, guys. Time to swap sheets once more if you are part of a local competition this holiday season. Here we go, the answers for round 4. I hope you managed to figure out that brain teaser, a bit of a tricky one. So let me start by telling you all of those host nations. Uruguay was the first ever to host a World Cup in 1930. After that, it was Italy. They hosted it twice, also in 1990. France also hosted twice, so did Brazil. Switzerland, so that's your W there, and there's a Z in there as well. Sweden, Chile, England, Mexico, so that takes care of your X there. West Germany, Argentina, Spain, the United States, South Korea and Japan, Germany, South Africa, Russia, and finally Qatar took care of the Q. So the only letter that's not in any of these country names is the V for victory. And that is the one that earned you the point on number 1. Number 2, the holiday song Blue was written by, River, off the album Blue, I should say. The song is called River, by none other than Miss Joni Mitchell. That was the name of the Canadian songwriter I was in search of. Number 3, the seemingly unrelated images. We see Hello Kitty. We see Anne Frank's diary, but in that diary she wrote Dear Kitty. She had in fact given it a name. Kitty Hawk was where the first flight by the Wright brothers took place. And finally, we also see Kitty from that 70s show. So kitties all around for number 3. The fantastic movie poster released for the promotion of a certain film. Here we see it. The Hitman's Bodyguard is the name of that film. And it's based, of course, on the iconic poster for The Bodyguard, starring Whitney Houston and Kevin Costner. Number 5, marsupials. We tend to think of Australia, but this little guy can be found north of Mexico. This is the adorable Virginia possum. But any old possum will do for the points there. So if you wrote a possum, you can award yourselves a point on number 5. Then trichloromethane. We asked you for the more common name. Headache, drowsiness, and unconsciousness are the consequences of inhaling the vapor, although they are more than 1 or 2 sniffs that are required to make this happen. Contrary to what detective novels and movies would have us believe, chloroform is therefore unsuitable to stun or to kidnap someone by surprise. But that is how it's very often presented in those detective novels, isn't it? In any case, chloroform is what earned you the point here on number 6. Number 7, approaching New Year's Eve celebrations. How should you have put these countries in order? Well, you should have started with Kiribati. They'll be the first to observe the new year, followed by Japan, then the Philippines, and only then does India come around to celebrate the new year. So 1 point if you put all of that in the correct order. And if you're having a bit of a rough time this evening or afternoon, depending on when you are enjoying today's quiz, if you swap 2 that were directly next to one another, go ahead and award yourselves half a point. And number 8, the books situated around Christmas time. So Skipping Christmas, that is John Grisham. A Christmas Carol, Charles Dickens. And How the Grinch Stole Christmas, Dr. Seuss, Mr. Theodore Geisel, aka Dr. Seuss. The actors playing Santa Claus, or at least dressed up as Santa Claus, are Ben Affleck, Jake, I think it's pronounced Gyllenhaal. I used to always say Gyllenhaal, but I've been hearing it pronounced as Gyllenhaal, so let's go with that. And Billy Bob Thornton as a very bad Santa in photo C. Finally, the Christmas song, also half a point each on these artists. And the voices you heard were those of Michael Bublé, of Frank Sinatra, and of Celine Dion for the final half a point. So be very impressed if you got all of those. And this led us to a grand total of not 12.5, as it says here, sorry about that, but 11.5 points, because we always want a grand total of 65, and we had an extra point in round 3 already. So it's a grand total of 11.5 that you could have scored. If you are joining us live, again, do let Guido know on the chat how you are getting on, if you did a good job on that round. And then we'll give you a minute now to calculate your scores and to share them with Guido, or to make a note so you can jot them up at the end and include them in that global online ranking. And we are back with round number 5, which is our second theme round that the regulars will surely know, but they also know that the theme changes a bit each time. I can reveal that it's not answer smashes this time around. We have done a festive version of the change one letter concept. So in the last quiz of 2022, we thought, bit of fun, let's introduce a new puzzle round for you. So the concept is change one letter. I think you can guess what that means. We're going to be changing one letter on the answers. Pretty straightforward. So what we'll do is ask you not 1, but 2 quiz questions. And the second answer, all you need to do is change a single letter based on the first answer. Of course, if you do know the second one, you can maybe backtrack and figure out the first one as well. That is the general idea. So for instance, if we say the capital of Italy and a name given to a cupola, for instance, in a church, it would be Rome and Dome. And because it's Christmas time, one half of the answers has a holiday theme to it each time. So I hope I've made that all clear. We've got 2 answers for half a point each, and all you need to do to get to the second answer is change a single letter from that first answer. It works the other way around just as well, of course. Now, here we go. Question number 1. One of the 3 magi, and the name of the friendly ghost who appeared in 55 cartoons between the years 1945 and 1959. So one of the 3 magi is the first half of this answer, and the second half is the name of that friendly ghost. A single letter is all that separates them. Can you give us both answers for half a point each? Question number 2. For this one, we start with a British rock band who had a 1974 Christmas hit with the song Lonely This Christmas. And for the second half, I am looking for the title of an American humor magazine first published in 1952, which is rather famous for featuring this character on the cover. So a British rock band who had a hit with Lonely This Christmas and the name of that magazine. Question number 3. For this one, we start with the name of a 2003 Christmas comedy movie starring Will Ferrell. And then for the second half of the question, I'm looking for an American sitcom from the 80s, which stars an alien who lives with a suburban middle-class family. So give me both the title of the film and the name of the show for full marks here. For question number 4, we start with the country in Northern Europe where Rovaniemi, the home of Santa Claus, can be found. So that's the first half of this answer. Then for the second half, I'm looking for the name given by the Vikings to the coastal regions of North America. So that is the second half of the answer there, the country in Northern Europe and that name used by the Vikings to describe the coastal regions in Northern America. Number 5. For this one, we kick off again with the three magi. This time I'm interested in one of the presents they brought along for little baby Jesus in the nativity story. So one of those three presents, and then to figure out which one, I'm looking for a type of Volkswagen first produced in 1974. And that differs but a single letter from that gift they brought along. So can you give me both the present and the type of Volkswagen first produced in 1974? On to number 6. For this one, we start with the number of golden rings that are given in the nursery rhyme, The 12 Days of Christmas. So how many golden rings in the 12 Days of Christmas? And then we combine those with a ballroom dance, which originated in the US in the early 1930s. So how many golden rings, and name that ballroom dance? For number 7, we start off with the name traditionally given to the second day of Christmas. And we combine that with the act of publicly providing personally identifiable information about an individual or an organization, usually via the internet. So there is a name for doing that, and it differs but a single letter for a name traditionally given to the second day of Christmas. For question number 8, we start with the name of an Australian singer who released the album Every Day is Christmas back in 2017. Change a single letter in the artist's name and you have a South Korean automobile manufacturer, the second largest in the nation, as a matter of fact. So give me that Australian singer and South Korea's second largest automobile manufacturer. Number 9. For this one, we start off with another word for trough, used as a makeshift crib for the baby Jesus, once again in the nativity scene. And we can combine that with the name given to a law enforcement person entrusted with protecting parklands in particular. So there's a name for such a person, and it differs but a single letter for that makeshift crib they made for the baby Jesus. What did they make that from? And on to number 10 we go. We finish with one of Santa's 9 reindeer. So one of Santa's reindeer. And then you can match that reindeer up rather nicely with the zodiac sign associated with someone born in June or July. So the zodiac sign that combines the months of June and July differs but a single letter from the name of one of Santa's reindeer. Can you get them both for number 10? And that's it. You've made it through round number 5. We'll give you a little bit more wrap-up time just in case you need it, and then I'll return with all those correct answers. And that's it. Time's up on round number 5. Time to swap sheets. If you're in a local competition, here we go. With our change one letter round, here come the answers. So one of the 3 magi, but which one? Well, he has a name rather similar to that friendly ghost. Caspar meets Casper. You can barely hear the difference, but it's there, a single letter between them. Number 2, the British rock band who had a 1974 Christmas hit with the song Lonely This Christmas. That is a song by Mud, and the name of that magazine is Mad Magazine. So Mud and Mad. Number 3, the 2003 Christmas comedy starring Will Ferrell is Elf, and that, of course, matches up nicely with ALF, which, by the way, was not just the alien's name. It actually is an acronym. It stands for Alien Life Form. Number 4, the country in Northern Europe where you can find Rovaniemi, the home of Santa. That would be Finland. And the Vikings, they called the coastal regions of North America Vinland with a V, sometimes alternatively spelt with a W. So if that's what you have on your answer sheet, you can award yourselves the point as well. Number 5, one of those presents, actually the easiest one to remember, I think, is the one I was in search of. It was gold, the others being frankincense and myrrh, of course. And that lines up nicely with the Volkswagen Golf. So gold and golf for number 5. Number 6, we had golden rings as well in the 12 days of Christmas. And there were 5 golden rings. The dance I was looking for was jive. So 5 and jive. And I was actually once on a Dutch television quiz called 5 Golden Rings. Fun fact for you there. We won, in case you were wondering. Number 7, the name traditionally given to the second day of Christmas. That is Boxing Day. And that aligns nicely with doxing, which is something you shouldn't do, publicly providing personally identified information about an individual or organization, usually on the internet. So boxing and doxing for the point. The Australian singer is Miss Sia, and she lines up nicely with the car manufacturer Kia for the purposes of this question. Number 9, another word for trough is a manger. And next to the manger, we have a ranger. Manger and ranger for full marks on number 9. By the way, if you found yourself struggling a little bit on this round, you can award yourselves half points on the bits you did get. You have my permission. Number 10, one of the reindeer, Santa's reindeer, and a zodiac sign. We see the symbol for it on screen already. Dancer and Cancer. Dancer and Cancer. Dancer, of course, being one of those reindeer. Much beloved by Santa. And that brings us to a grand total of 10 points you could have earned on this special holiday-themed round. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you scored many points. Again, if you're joining us live, don't forget to share your results with Guido and the other teams on the chat. I'm sure they're eagerly awaiting your results as well. Don't forget to write them down otherwise, because it's almost time to jot up your grand total. So I'll give you a minute now to calculate your scores and to share them should you be joining us live. And after that, we're going to go straight into the music round. And with that, we officially arrive at round number 6. It's time for music. And this round is all about the biggest hits and the biggest losses of 2022. So the year 2022 in music. What we've done, because we know some of you would get very annoyed if we only focused on music from the last year, and actually so would YouTube, so this is a win-win. We've also included some songs by artists who we've lost in the past year. So there's songs that were in the news in the past year for some reason, or I won't reveal too much, but there's also some famous artists who are no longer with us, who passed away in 2022, and we've included some of their biggest hits into the mix as well. So some recent music music, some older golden oldies songs there as well. A little bit of everything and hopefully something for everyone this holiday season. That was the idea. So what we'll do as always is just play you these clips one by one. After the clip has played, it will automatically go into a time ticker, so you have a bit of time to debate the answer with your teammates and to write it down. And then after that, it automatically goes into those miniatures, allowing you to finalize your answers. I won't do any talking this round, just let you enjoy the music and report back to you at the very end with all of those answers. So I hope you enjoyed this little musical year in review. See you soon.
I'm 23 now, but will I live to see 24? The way things are going, I don't know. Tell me why are we so blind to see that the ones we hurt are you and me?
Snapping 1, 2, where are you? You're still in my heart. Snapping 3, 4, don't need you here anymore. Get out of my heart. Made of stone. If I only could take all the love that you give and escape to a world crystal clear.
Hold me, baby. Well, I want to love you like I love should. You're fine, so kind. Got to tell this world that you're mine, 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 mine. I chew my nails down and I twiddle my thumb. I'm real nervous, but it sure is fun. Come on, baby.
Everything gets in the way. Seems you cannot be replaced, and I'm the one who'll stay. Oh, in this world, it's just us. You know it's not the same.
And that's it. We have concluded round 6. It's the final time this evening or afternoon, again, depending on when you're joining us, to swap sheets if you are part of a local competition. Here we go with the answers to round 6. First up, it was a song that was a big hit this year. Lizzo is the artist, and the song title is About Damn Time. Next up, a song by an artist a rapper who passed away earlier this year. That was song number 2. He was aged only 59. Coolio with his smash hit Gangsta's Paradise. Coolio, Gangsta's Paradise. Next up, number 6, that was a Eurovision song. Rosalind performed Snap for us this holiday season. The Armenian entrance for the Eurovision Song Contest became a huge worldwide hit via TikTok several months after the Eurovision Song Contest, actually. Number 4, that was another artist who passed away this year, Irene Cara, with the song Flashdance, What a Feeling. She won an Academy Award and a Grammy for this song in 1984, and she passed away in November. She was aged 63. For number 5, we have Sam Smith and Kim Petras with the song Unholy. So Sam Smith and Kim Petras, and then Unholy is the name of the song. Smith and Kim Petras are, respectively, the first publicly non-binary and transgender artists to hit number 1 on the Billboard Hot 100. So that's a really cool fun fact to add there. Number 6, Olivia Newton-John was, of course, the artist I was in search of with the song Physical. With global sales of more than 100 million records, Newton-John established herself as one of the best-selling music artists of all time. She passed away this year as well, aged 73. For number 7, a big hit this year as well, although not entirely original, was it? David Guetta and Bebe Rexha with the song I'm Good. Blue in brackets goes behind that if you like, but we're not being too specific here. And the Eiffel 65 song Blue Dabba Dee Dabba Da does a lot of the heavy lifting on this so-called new David Guetta tune. Number 8, that was another classic song, Fleetwood Mac's Little Lies. And it was Christine McVie who passed away in November of this year. She was a vocalist, also keyboardist for Fleetwood Mac. And songs she wrote or co-wrote include Don't Stop, Everywhere, and also the song you heard in this music round, Little Lies. Number 9, another artist we lost this year, though he made it to the ripe old age of 87. It was Jerry Lee Lewis, the killer, Jerry Lee Lewis with Great Balls of Fire, we heard for number 9. And finally, probably the biggest hit of 2022, it definitely was here in the Netherlands, where it topped the top 40 chart for a record-breaking 18 weeks. Harry Styles did that with the song As It Was. So that's the final point you could have earned on today's music round. And if you did all the math, you will have noticed that you could have earned 10 more points on this round. So that gives you a grand total of 65 points, as always, that you could have earned on today's quiz. And as always, if you're joining us live, we are super, super curious for your results there. Guido's already eagerly awaiting them, as I'm sure are the other teams who are joining us live. So don't be shy, share your results on the chat, but more importantly, even don't forget to also make it official. The QR code is going to go up on screen in a bit, and you'll be able to use that link to submit your scores. And also let us know how you enjoyed this holiday edition of the quiz. If you're looking forward to another year of quizzing, we definitely like to hear your thoughts, and also any suggestions you might have for us going into a brand new quizzing year. So the QR code slide is going to stay up on screen in a bit, allowing you to do all of that. Here we have the date for our next quiz. It's going to be January 21st. So again, the third Saturday in January, we will return to you with the first quiz of 2023. And during that quiz, we're going to do a bit of thinking over the holidays as well about how to proceed in the coming year. So during that quiz, we will be updating you on our plans for the new year. But there definitely will be a quiz on January 21st. That I promise you. So here we have the QR code for you. It's going to stay up on screen when the quiz has ended. Don't forget to share your score and any thoughts you might have for us for that official ranking, which is going to go up on Monday, a full 2 weeks after the quiz has aired. So you have the whole holiday season to share your results with us. And then right at sort of the start of the new year, we'll make sure that that ranking goes up for everyone to view and enjoy. Do let Guido know how you did in the comment section, but also how you enjoyed today's quiz. And with that, the time has already come to say farewell to you now from the studio here in Eindhoven. Myself and Bob, thank you so much for joining the fun. I really do hope you enjoyed this final quiz of the year. A lot of love went into it, not just into my dress, but into the quiz as well. And all that remains for me to do is to wish you the happiest of holidays and a wonderful year ahead of us. Hopefully a wonderful quizzing year as well. I really hope you have a wonderful time with your friends and your loved ones, and that you stay happy, healthy, and safe. And I look forward to seeing you again in the new year on January 21st, when we return to you with a brand new quiz. So I'm already looking forward to that. And for now, happy holidays. Take care, everybody, and see you in the new year. Bye-bye.